Hello, everyone, and welcome to a revolution in podcasting. We all like listening to podcasts, but did you know there's a new way to consume podcasts, and that is called the Podcast Enema. And what that is we take your podcast RSS feed, all the podcasts you follow, and we put them in an easy, convenient enema pill that you can take once a day, and it just gives you easy to consume. You just put it up your, anal cavity, put it in a nice, polite way to get. We're trying to get the marketing going, guys, and trying to come up with a name also. Podcast Enema, maybe something a little more catchy. Analcast. The podcast you like directly in your where the Lord made you area. The podcast you crave, where you, hey, listen, it's no longer just an exit, okay? Now it's an entrance to all your favorite podcasts directly in your ass. Listen, you already put earbuds in your ear hole. Why not have them also in your asshole? Your podcast directly from the source, straight into your source, your asshole. I don't know. I'm working on the slogans, guys. Send me any suggestions you want. We're doing an ad campaign. Enema. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a new name. Anal audio. Anal audio. Enemify? No. You could just say the E-caster and leave out the enema part, because we want it more marketable. We want out a commercial sounding name. We're working on the ad campaign, the marketing campaign, and all that. I mean, if there's any marketing specialists who listen, feel free to contact me, because we're really trying to get this off the ground. We're trying to get our marketing team to really get this boots on the ground movement to have your podcast listenable where you make movements every day. This is a new movement, and not just because it would be placed where you make bowel movements. Listen, who wants to always get these earbuds, put them in your ears, when you can have an enema little device that just goes straight up in there? And then we're kind of working on a delivery method. How do we get them to, how do you play it? How do you listen to it? We're working on all that, but it's probably going to be Bluetooth. And we're going to work on, you may have to get surgery so that the signals all can reach and everything. And we're working on, how do we want this delivery? We can have we could have a little wireless device, a little remote, and then that's how you select the podcast. But then the signal goes from just your anal cavity right to your ears. And again, we're kind of working on how we gonna get it. You hear it then, but we're working on a new technology that's gonna just send the sound from there up to your ears. Okay, it might go through your intestine. We don't know yet. We're working on it. Anal Audio Industries might be the name of the company. I don't know. We're working on that. But hey, it's a new revolution in listening. It's a new revolution in taking. You might be used to taking things in that area. Well, you're going to take podcasts there next. Not recommended for somebody who does engage in a lot of anal activity. But we're, consult with your doctor first, of course. But this is going to be a whole new thing. I mean, this is other people might copy this. We might have a lot of phones come out and you just get the enema with the phone. You can save space on your phone if it's all going to your, goes straight to your ass, like they say some food does. But now it's going to be the podcast, You're not going to have to worry about putting on weight because this is just, audio. So very exciting stuff. And the Guy's Room has exclusive partnership with many pleasure companies. I don't know how else to say it. We're really going to put this out there, guys. And put it in there, too, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I'll just keep you guys updated on that. And here we go. Welcome back to A Guy in His Room. Quite a week, guys. Quite a week to reflect, just like, have a walk outside, sit in the park, reflect on the week. What happened, what happened to us as a human race? What happened? Why can't we come together? Why can't we join hands and sing those songs that we used to do in the 80s? And, with Michael Jackson, what was that called again? Remember when we also used to do that kind of stuff? Like, hey, let's all come together, and it would show, like, different race people. Be like, hey, let's join hands. Let's, like, we are the world and stuff like that. We are the world, but are we anymore? Like, what are we anymore? Why can't we just we are the world each other now? What happened to the good old days of we are the world? Well, not anymore, guys. I mean, I just talked about this last week.
Protesting.
Why is that on the low setting? I don't want that.
On the low setting. That's weird.
Okay.
Protests are continuing across the nation. Here we go. Okay, so I talked about all the students at the colleges protesting. Well, it looks like they took to the streets today. Hundreds of protesters. I mean, for New York, hundreds isn't really much. Like, I could easily go a couple blocks and I'd be away from them, so that's a good thing. A group of 100, hold on, guys. A group of 150 protesters, or whatever you want to call them. They were at NYU. And then they took to the streets, and they went to the steps of Penn Station for no reason. Before taking a rush hour train, they went to Columbia after they were at NYU. And then they were at Penn Station yelling and bothering everyone. And then they swarmed the train, guys. I've been here mostly when I want to go visit family. I'll go to Penn Station first. I mean, it's where everybody goes. Probably if they live in New Jersey, they go through there every day. Look at this. There's also a pro-Israel rally outside Columbia, too, as you can see here. And I know you guys tune in for the hard-hitting news and journalism, The Guy in His Room. So you're welcome for providing what I provide. As you know, A Guy in His Room is government-funded, so we get it straight from the source, just like NPR. Protesters squished in with regular New Yorkers making their rush hour commute, and then they were chanting on the train, Uptown A Train, you will see Palestine is almost free. So they think that because they keep yelling and waving flags and stuff like that's helping the country of Palestine. So that's interesting and kind of a very cute thing to think, I guess. What the fuck? So the New York Post here, I don't know what, it's just showing, there was warm weather yesterday and everybody's had their shirt off. I mean, it was one day that it was warm weather. I don't understand these people who, just to derail and sidetrack. These people who are these I don't get these people who, like, it's one day of warm weather and they right away they take their shirt off and they go jogging or in the park and they just right away have all their summer shit out. Like, how do you even do that? It's like, do you know in advance it's going to be like, it was warm yesterday and all I did was like kind of took a hoodie instead of my jacket and that's basically all I did. I'm just not used to, like, when it's like crazy warm or out of season weather, I don't just like become that right away. Like, I'm not like, oh, it's really warm out, unseasonably warm out today. Well, gonna wear shorts and no shirt and go jogging. Like, what is that? It's like, I guess you just want to show off your chest or something. It wasn't that hot. It wasn't fucking sweltering degree. It was not take your shirt off weather. But you have these people who, yeah, I'm not going to be wearing shorts one day. It's warm one day. I'm not going to get out my shorts. I'm not going to get out my summer clothes for one day. Like, I might just not wear a jacket or something. Because it's just like, I don't want to it's like, I almost don't want to acknowledge it because I'm like, look, it's not, you're not going to tease me into thinking it's summer. So I really show them, the weather gods or whatever. Anyway, so, yeah, so it looks like people are trying to cope and pretend like this isn't just like, well, okay, 150 people. That's still a decent amount. I mean, I don't know how many students are at NYU. I mean, I'm kind of sick of everyone minimizing these because it's just like, this is happening all the time now. Every single time there's some kind of issue, then there's just spontaneously seeming mobs that form and then go yell and protest about it. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I do get why people think it's funded, although what do you fund? That's like, in my opinion, I don't think someone's paying literally. I mean, maybe some, like, I don't know. You could argue that, like, some of the crazier, like, I mean, I do think there's outside people that aren't even students that go to these. Are they being paid? I mean, I guess, I don't know. If you really want to derail a movement, like, you would do that, I guess. But, like, I don't see what, I don't know. I mean, look, if that does happen, it's probably hardly at all. So, there's in no way do I think that regular college kids that go to these protests are being funded by George Soros or whatever, or whatever person. I do kind of think it's like, first of all, it's like, it's become a thing to do. It's a social thing to do. I just feel like, you're in college, and like when I was in college, I knew that it was like mainly to be a social kind of activity, and like I felt like I was wasting my time if I didn't go to some party or something. Like, I hardly ever did. But like sometimes I would just be like, I should be like, I would feel like I was a loser because I wasn't going to parties there. Because like that was the whole reputation of college. Now there's no Van Wilder like reputation. Like, these colleges just, that's the craziest thing to me is like, like I heard Jessica Kirsten on Tim Dillon's podcast, shout out. I'm sure they're going to hear me mentioning them. I mean, I just want to give Tim Dillon a shout out to grow his channel. He's been asking me to do that. But she was talking about TikTok and how college kids are so upset and angry. And she was like, well, on one hand, I get her point that like it does make you weird. It does make you watch shit that you wouldn't normally watch. It does get you riled up. Social media gets you riled up. Like that's I mean, I didn't have this when I was 20 or whatever, 18, 20. Like I definitely didn't have all this going on. The weirdest stuff I did when I was that age was probably kind of look up things and self-diagnose sometimes. Like not really self-diagnose, but just like look into stuff because I had a lot of anxiety issues, and I would just like I didn't know what that was back then. People now all know what that is. Everybody knows what that is. Like most young people have that. I mean, look at the colleges now. But back, 2002, 2003, even back then, I didn't even know what it was. So like, I was like, what is this? So I would look into it. That's the weirdest I got. I didn't get into I should change my gender thing. But I can see how they get into that kind of because although now, like, you should know what anxiety is. You should know what a lot of these symptoms are. But I think because the focus is different, like, oh, it's gender, so they'll be guided into that. I mean, I don't know. But, there was nobody like this angry. Like, there was no militant, angry mobs when I was in college. I mean, towards, like, the later end of my college tenure, to use a big word, yeah, Obama got in, and the Obama stuff was a little extreme for me back then. Me and my friend noticed it. And I don't mean they weren't angry. It was just like he was being pushed everywhere. Like everywhere I walked on campus, it was like, "Hey, you're registered to vote. Hey, and it was clearly for Obama. Like there was no, like that's all anyone talked about, and mostly in the media though. It was mostly in the media, like, oh, yes, we can, and all these celebrities. So that was really annoying. It was almost like idol worship. It was a little bit like, it was just weird the way they were revering this guy that had never, I don't think, been in office before. I think because he was black is one thing. So that was pushed as like, hey, this is going to change things because he's not white and stuff. Like, although, he's still funded by, just because they really successfully made people, especially young people, hyper fixate on the color of someone's skin. That's for sure. I mean, that was a huge success. People only focus on that now. I mean, and it was weird because I grew up being taught color blindness, like, hey, don't judge someone by their color. And to like every race, to not judge people, but also to not like judge them on that. And then it became like, well, he's black, and then now we're just like, well, he's black, so he's good. Like, so they're never wrong kind of idea is what we're now into. And that is probably what the college kids are most upset about. Like, Jewish people, they're kind of white, they're no more pale. I mean, if this was Greece or somewhere, they'd be a little brown. Even if it was Italy, there might be some, well, no, that would count as white too. Look, you got to look at the real shit behind, I know woke is a buzzword, but the real stuff behind that, it really literally is a pyramid of oppression. Like, and you got the pale white people on top, and that's why Asians are considered white. It's literally that stupid, people. It's literally that stupid. Like, oh, Asians have like paler skin than Palestinians, therefore they're like more of an oppressor. We're not saying they're the oppressor. That's just white people, Caucasian people. But they're up there. They're in that club. That's why, they had that whole Harvard admission scandal. But they won on that. They won convincing people to only focus on race. So that's kind of probably that's why this is happening with all the protests becoming riots now. If this was too like, yeah, even the Ukraine stuff wasn't this big. I mean, the Ukraine stuff, I would see some groups out with like a Ukraine flag, and it wasn't like, it was pretty normal, civil. I didn't see any attacks, but this is just like, I mean, anyway, so what was I just reading on here? So Eric Adams, the mayor here, told protesters to leave the area because he thinks they were peaceful protests, but they've been co-opted by extremists. Well, I think that's probably true. But it looks like there's a fair amount of regular students that are in that group, so they could have been co-opted and whatever also. But I mean, this is the one thing I wanted to show here is this is a regular white student. I mean, she even looks Jewish to me, which is ironic, but. Columbia student demands the university help feed the protesters occupying Hamilton Hall. So this, I just saw a couple days ago, a group of the more extreme rioters. I'm not even going to call them protesters. I mean, if you want me to be okay with people protesting, which I am, you can't call the people rioting and breaking windows protesters. I mean, you can't do that. That's not... Anyway, so she wants them to send them food, even though I think they're on spring break still. I don't know. Maybe not. But they took over the building and broke the windows to get in. There's video footage of it, if you don't believe me. So here's...
How should they be obligated to provide food to people who've taken over a building?
Well, first of all, we're saying that they're obligated to provide food to students who pay for a meal plan here.
But you mentioned that there was a request to...
How is this a part?
That was part of the meal plan. I don't think it includes breaking into the building and just sitting there when they're telling you to leave. I had a meal plan at college, and they only allowed you to get food at certain times. Is that oppression? Was that oppression? Should I sue? No, because I'm white, so. But some of these people are white, so I guess I could. I mean, if I'm an ally, I guess, I mean, they've ruined the term ally too, haven't they? Because they say ally like, oh, I'm a friend of a black person, so I'm an ally to them. So any brown person I know, I have to go, hey, I'm an ally because look, I'm sorry, it's condescending. You think that you're better, you think they're worse off than you. I don't know if you think it literally, or like, you just think that the history of those people, and that you still have the same power that white people had, like, whenever they were having Jim Crow laws and stuff. Like, you think, well, I'm white, so, like, I have to be an ally because I have the power still. They have no say, which isn't true anymore. I mean, I'm not saying no one is racist or prejudiced, but, yeah, that's not a thing, especially with DEI stuff. But they didn't have to force DEI. I mean, if you, I don't know. So, like, this is just funny because, like, these students really haven't thought this through. Like, if you're gonna stay in a building, yeah, I don't think. I just don't see how they wouldn't have predicted that would happen. Yeah, they're not gonna come and give you food or like cover your food if you broke into a building and are sitting in the building. I mean, this isn't people that are still on the lawn either, which they were told to leave. And to be fair, this isn't all the protesters that were at a protest. Just to clarify, because everybody has to, constantly clarify because everybody takes you in bad faith now. So me saying that these protesters shown on screen are all the protesters, I didn't say that, but they would assume I meant that, right? They would assume I meant all college students too. Yeah, so they've ruined the term ally. Like, if you're going to say I'm an ally to, I don't know, you would really never say that, I guess. It's just a weird thing to say unless you're in a war or something.
Food and water be brought in, unless I misunderstood.
To allow it to be brought in. I mean, well, I guess it's ultimately a question of what kind of community and obligation Columbia feels it has to its students. Do you
Um, yeah, so like, her voice isn't, so yeah, like, whatever you guys wanna, I guess you guys don't care about us students then, okay?
So what she's doing right there is like a threat. It's like a veiled threat against the university, saying, which is a lot of all these extremists like are like this, where they just threaten. They threaten to like I don't know, coerce you into whatever. They demand it, and then they threaten you in like some kind of passive aggressive veiled threat. Like, hey, I guess like send us as much food as you think students deserve to eat. Like, I guess if you want us to starve, go ahead, that's fine, but, that's on Columbia University. If that's how you guys want to look, I'm just warning you. Like, she won't say warning you, but...
You want students to die of dehydration and starvation or get
See?
severely ill, even if they disagree with you?
Yeah, that's all it is.
It's just a disagreement, guys. That's all it is. That's why we had to break windows and stay in there and refuse to leave, because it's just a little disagreement. I guess you guys don't like freedom of speech anymore. That's all. I guess
you guys don't want to allow students to express themselves, and you want us to dehydrate.
like in the show 3 Body Problem, where they shrivel up and become mummified. I guess you want us to all
Become those alien things in the show 3 Body Problem. Now on Netflix. Is that what you want? I guess you're okay with students dying.
just for I'm sorry, we don't. And it's, first of all, it's assuming, and Columbia University has obviously put out statement after statement. I saw just a couple, but they were obviously all like, yeah, we can understand your concerns. We agree with, I don't know what they said, but it was like, we support your right to protest. We understand your problem, something like that. So not only is she saying like, oh, they want us to starve and die of thirst, she's also saying they don't agree with her, which is not even true, because like they're all the same ideology. Like, are you kidding me? This isn't like some Christian college. But
The answer is no, then you should allow basic, I mean, it's crazy to say because we're on an Ivy League campus, but this is like basic humanitarian aid we're asking for. Like,
this is literally
to have a glass of water.
This is literally.
Yeah, okay. You know what I would have said? Like, hey, do you always give a homeless person water? Like every time you see a homeless person? Well, I don't know if that would make sense, but I'm just kind of thinking of, because there are right now, like you're squatting. You're a homeless person squatting is what you are. So they have no duty to feed and give you like water to like when they want you out of there. I mean, what, like, how do you, like, that's like, this is literally someone like doing something like, okay, someone comes in your house and like shoots your husband or something. And then they're like holding you hostage. I don't know, it's a little extreme too. Someone doing something bad to you and then expecting you to like let them live. Like, what if someone is kidnapping you, and then they run out of food and water, and you're like, they're in your house or something, and they're like, all right, I guess you want me to die then. Well, yeah, you broke in my house. I mean, if you want to die, it's like now you're making Columbia, like, this is so. She's on video too. I mean, I know nothing will happen to these people because they're on the right side of history. So like, nothing ever bad happens. They'll just get like booked and then sent on their way. I don't think that's good either, though. Like, that wouldn't that be you know what? Let me just see. Somebody might be asking this on Google now, because what happens if you are arrested for protesting? Here's the thing. Here's the thing too. These all initially start out as like looking like a protest. I'm not saying they're all rioting and stuff and breaking windows and doing what that girl was doing. But once it becomes that, then you're part of a mob. Like, how are you not part of a rioting mob at that point? Because something starts out as a protest and then becomes a wild mob that breaks into a building and doesn't leave, and you stay with that group and you don't leave the building, you're part of a mob. You are trespassing. You should be arrested for trespassing. You're not a protester at that point. You'll be searched and transported to a local police station, and you'll be fingerprinted, photographed, and held for bail or remain in custody. Okay, so let's see here. Wait a minute, you have charges filed against you, and you have to enter a plea. Okay, so I think you're going to get a criminal record for this. I mean, as much as they're not really getting consequences, I don't think this is good because, like, all these, like, I'm looking for jobs now, and they all, like, not all of them actually. Some of them do ask, do you have a criminal record? Maybe most of them. I don't know. I mean, not as many as I thought, but you do have a criminal record, it looks like, for this. And then you're also on the news as like one of these people. I mean, I don't God. I just can't believe this logic. Like, I mean, it's not logic, it's just like stupidity.
They did put themselves in that very deliberately in that situation and in that position. So it seems like
I mean, so
you're sort of saying, we want to be revolutionaries, we want to take over this building, now would you please bring us food and water? And
Nobody's asking them to bring anything. We're asking them to not violently stop us from
everything's violent.
bringing in basic humanitarian aid.
They're stopping the delivery of food.
We are looking for a commitment from them that they will not stop it violently.
Oh, shut up. Trying to not sound stupid there. They have you on that. Like, there's no way they're stopping food delivery. Hell, is that a DoorDash? Hey, get him. Like, you guys can't go out, get food, and bring it back? Shut the fuck up. I mean, you are illegally trespassing. So, like, even if they did that, I don't see how that's a bad move. Because, like, first of all, how do you even put that address in to get DoorDash? Hey, I can't put my address in. Can you? I mean, maybe, I don't know. Oh, it's fucking unbelievable. And also, like, the thing they always do is get crowdfunding for everything. Like, for bail, for, and yeah, they're using those, the way, you have to, like, pay a lot of attention. Most of your attention with these extremist people is on their language, because that's all they can do is use language and violence too. Like, they're now at the point of, like, okay, we're just straight up violent now. Like, for a while now, they've been able to get away with everything based on words alone. And I'm talking about people that weaponized, like, everything, like Me Too, race, like calling them a racist. That's all words, and that's all your words. That's it. So now they're at the point of, well, we're just violent now. Like, I mean, these protests recently, I mean, I know the attack was in October, and there was, like, protests, but they weren't violent right away like this. But now they're just straight up, like, they barely even wait now. I mean, in 2020, I think there was a little bit of a wait. Like, they kept going, and then you'd see some more violence happen at night at least, like, with looting. And obviously people were using the protests to commit crime. Obviously, that wasn't everybody there that was doing that, but that started to happen. And now, like, this girl is clearly just a protester. This is probably a student. Yeah, she said she had a meal plan. So you can't say it's only extreme outside people. this girl is literally a student. I mean, calling it like, and that's what they do is they're like, all right. They're like, well, it sounds like you just want them to send you food, and you, like the reporter was saying. And then she goes, we want a guarantee that they're not going to stop. So she did not answer that point. She brought up a new thing, a whole new idea that nobody even had thought of. Oh, wait, are they stopping DoorDash guys? Hey,
We got a DoorDash guy over there. Get him!
DoorDash guy is on your 11 o'clock. All right. Grenade out. All right, shoot him. All right, DoorDash guy, 1 down. All right, looks like we got another. Oh, is he, looks like Uber Eats is over there. All right, I got him. Johnny, he's on your 6. All right, I got him. We're moving in.
so that's like, this is part of the whole like World War III Civil War scenario is, you know, the college has snipers, and they're just taking out delivery guys on elite top college campuses. The admin of the campuses of these like elite universities, they got their own snipers, and they're taking out. They're stopping physically DoorDash people from delivering food, guys. Just don't forget that. I mean, hey, by the way, the fact that this is Columbia and it's in New York and there's food literally everywhere you walk, don't just forget about all that, because that goes against their narrative about them blocking humanitarian aid, guys. So every time I'm hungry, I think I'm just going to say I need humanitarian aid and you're committing genocide against me. Here's the thing, that's what they do. Like, when you guys see them saying, like, this is literally genocide about whatever, know that they could be talking about that they didn't get fed or something. Like, that's what they do. They go to these crazy, like, they use crazy inflammatory language to get their way. That's the only thing they do besides eventually resort to violence and breaking windows and shit. Like, these are crazy people that, I mean, I can't just, I mean, this is worse than the BLM stuff. I mean, this is like, I mean, I don't even know what they're, like, why are they this upset? Well, I guess, like I said earlier, it's just the oppression pyramid stuff, but, oh my God. Let's see if there's any other, I mean, that was a great clip, though. I mean, I wish there was more clips like that I could find. It's kind of hard to find all this stuff. Hey, Beavis. She's like, protesting or whatever. Yeah. Maybe we can, like, send them our humanitarian package. Want to see my humanitarian package? We will not back down, guys. Guess what, guys? Good news. They're not backing down. These college kids. Look, this is a Chaz right here. And this is all over the country. Like, what is happening? Like, they just get, I mean, you know, it really is like that NPC meme where they just get a software update. I don't understand how this really, like, across the country, and, you know, in 2020 it was across the world. But for some reason, seems like this is limited to the U.S. Like, I don't really see UK colleges. Like, all I keep seeing is NYC colleges and other places, and it's all the, like, Ivy League schools for some reason. Like, I don't really get this. I just don't get it. Is it because they teach the kids a certain way? This is Tufts Encampment. Where is that? Tufts Encampment. See, like, I don't really like Twitter and stuff, but, like, it's good to get, like, news right away. It's good to get clips like this. Our comrades' photos of...
Our comrades' photos of some epic artwork at the Tufts Gaza Solidarity Encampment. They're holding strong. Hashtag escalate for Gaza.
This is really funny, though, because Biden is not going to stop funding Israel. He's not going to do that. Like, there's no way in hell he's going to do that, because maybe this is going to wake them up to realize politicians don't give a shit about anything and they just care about money. I mean, look, I'm not against the fact that we shouldn't be funding wars. I'm definitely for that. I do think Israel should have stopped. Like, if we did help them at all, it should have been right after the attack, and then that's it, I guess. Well, I don't know. I kind of feel like those people being held prisoner should be helped, I guess, but I'm not. I don't know. I guess if you're totally against war, you wouldn't even want us to help with that either. I don't know. I guess, like, you know, yeah, we keep funding Ukraine too. Why aren't they upset about that? They're only upset about Israel. Like, well, I guess they got. You know what their problem is? Russia, they made into a bad guy. I mean, this has been decades. They've made Russia into a bad guy. They have not done that about Palestine. We did with the Iraq War, kind of, like. And I wasn't aware that we made Israel a big enemy like this. Like, I'm not aware of why. I mean, I have no idea, really, the history of that whole region and stuff. Like, I just think this behavior is funny to, like, make fun of and call out because it's so stupid. I mean, I don't... Like, yeah, the Ivy League colleges are not going to stop sending, like, they need to get money any way they can. They're all, like, I agree, they're all corrupt. Like, I do think higher ed should be really just done away with or just completely revamped because it is too expensive. Like, there's no, it is, but they're not even talking about that as the thing. Like, yeah, they want their loans forgiven. I mean, people make fun of all these kids, like, oh, you want your loans forgiven. Like, yeah, the amount that we pay now is crazy. Like, if mortgages went that, like, if mortgages increased the way college tuition did, like, I mean, I guess no one is getting a house now, but it's not really fair to, like, blast the students about, like, I understand, like, that you shouldn't expect that they would be forgiven for no reason. I understand making fun of that, but I also think, like, you have to admit how corrupt it is and how expensive it is because of all the corruption and all the funding they get. If this helps remove, like, I don't care about these colleges. I do think it's kind of funny to see them go down like this. I didn't go to an Ivy League or anything. I do think it's a shame, but these Ivy League schools were, like, already corrupt and, like, just rich people went. So, like, it's hard to feel bad, I guess. I mean, mainly also the fact that they're not doing much about this. They might put cops in there. I guess it's just funny also that they're still doing the Chaz Chop thing after that failed. So, like, now they're trying to act ironic about it. Bothered by the encampment? Look away like you do for genocide. And I saw one of them, like, they made a border patrol on their encampment. This is another thing. It's like somebody hitting you over and over, and then when you hit back, they go, this is genocide, or this is causing harm to students. This is, like, you're abusing students. It's like, no, they did all this shit first. Like, again, like, that's another, you know, like, social media, like, there's no nuance to anything. You can't. And social media has become people's brains now. Like, there's not even a way that they can process complex situations. Like, one-on-one, like I think I said before, yeah, you can talk one-on-one to people. I mean, not these people probably, but a lot of people will go, yeah, I know there's this and this, like, but like when people are this amped up, like they become Twitter and they become that like incapable of discussion. So we like literally have become Twitter as I'd be surprised. Like, here's the thing: if a college did say, "Hey, okay, you know what? We're gonna divest from Israel or whatever it is," I don't even know if all that's true. Like, I don't know how they found that out or if they have concrete proof. And if they were getting money from Israel or whoever, like, are they sending money now to Israel for the war or like, I don't know. They just some high school students walked out of school to join the Tufts encampment. I don't know where that is though. I was trying to find out where that is. Tufts. Maybe it's an acronym. The University North Freedom Teaching Solidarity. Tufts University. Tufts University urges students to end pro-Palestinian encampment so semester can start. As of yesterday, this came in the news on the wire. On the wire. So they're trying to still naively reason with these people. All right, guys, like, hey, can we start the semester? We support your protesting, but please, can we just start the... But we support, like, please don't hurt us. Please don't hurt me. This is all the evergreen stuff. I wasn't planning on talking about this again, by the way, but it's just funny that they escalated and broke into a... Young TikToker student brings her camera to the liberated zone at Stanford University to dispel misconceptions. I mean, if they're not allowing Jewish people in, I don't know how much are doing that. And how, first of all, how would you know someone's Jewish, like, unless they're literally asking? I mean, imagine that. Are you Jewish, sir? The only time I've been asked that is by Jewish people when they're trying to, like, convert or whatever they do. They have these holidays here where they, like, they give out plants or something. Maybe it's the palms or whatever for Palm Sunday. I don't know. Well, no, it wouldn't be that. But I don't know. They try to, like, I think get you to become Jewish, or I don't know. But they're just like, are you Jewish? And they stop talking to you once you say no. They lose all interest. So yeah, every college is like just naively trying to reason like, hey guys, can we start come on. Please. Please. Come on, please. We really want to start school. Come on, guys. So anyway, here's a couple funny, maybe funny entertainment news. This just in, Barbra Streisand shocked by Ozempic remark backlash, and Melissa McCarthy reacts. Palestine who? I forgot all about it with this fun entertainment gossip, guys. Oh, wow, she's 82. Barbra, I mean, she looks good for 82, although I'm sure she has had work done. I mean, I have to, like, admit that Barbra Streisand at least didn't get, like, her nose fixed or whatever. I mean... It is too big for me, but most celebs just like get every little blemish taken out. So I mean, I kind of like that, but and this is funny. It's just like a so apparently Melissa McCarthy flaunted. I always like when they say that. Flaunted her figure on Instagram with a choreographer, I guess. And I guess because she looks skinnier, Barbara Streisand, 82 years old, wrote, "Give him my regards. Did you take Ozempic?" Because she lost weight. And people were none too pleased. The thing is, like, among celebrities, they probably casually say that. They probably go, "Hey, did you try Ozempic yet?" And, like, if they probably just say this. But because this is public and random people see it, I mean, they're so out of touch. It's so funny now because, like, celebs are increasingly out of touch with the regular public because the middle class is shrinking and it's dying. I mean, all of us middle class poors are becoming more poor. I mean, look at the inflation. Look, that's why most of the celebrities are still like, Biden's great, guys. What are you talking about? He's great. Because they don't have to care about the cost of anything. So they're going, it's fine for me. I'm not. And then, like, I know Oprah before got backlash because, like, she was suggesting, like, a Christmas budget or something. And, like, she was like, I don't know, $100 per gift. And it was, like, out of touch with people. Because who watches Oprah? It's, like, mostly lower income. That love Oprah because I don't know why. It's just, like, stupid shit to watch. It's just, like, I don't know. And it's, like, kind of like, you know, so, like, she thought there was no problem with that because that's, again, I think that's celebrities just say shit like this. They're like, they probably, all the ones who lost weight recently, they all are on that shit. Like, there's no way they lost it naturally if this came out and they're all trend followers. I know they're rich and famous and you think they're above you or whatever, but they do what all their peers do, especially if they think it's the in thing to do. They all were fine with Harvey Weinstein until, like, you know, last fucking second. I just wanted to pay her a compliment, Barbara Streisand said. And Melissa McCarthy said, I think she's a treasure and I love her, so she wasn't offended. I mean, yeah, I think she probably did take that, I'll be honest. Melissa McCarthy has said once she did an all-liquid diet and she lost 70 pounds, but she'd never do it again. I mean, all liquid going in or going out? Am I right? Am I right or what, guys? Going in or going out, folks? People are saying she's a boomer aunt. I mean, she's 80-something. That's not an aunt. Yeah, so anyway, so a really cool thing happened recently, guys. Shock jock Howard Stern had on Joe 3030, guys. Shock jockery at its finest, everybody. Edgy. No holds barred questions, guys. Just edgy guy talk on Howard Stern. So, I will say, I mean, it's surprising Biden went there. I thought he would just call in. But I guess he went in there. And Howard Stern dressed up with his fake hair. Why does he even want that hair? Like, if you're, like, balding and that's your hair, like, just fucking, who cares? Like, who wants that? I'm nervous. I really am. The starstruck Stern told Biden. It was an hour-long chat with a dubious list of Biden's greatest hits. Standing up to Putin. Something about insurance rates, low unemployment, not true. And being a good father, very not true, to his family and his country. Yeah, he's a great dad, you know, evidenced by his kids who have addiction problems. They all have... It's just, like, embarrassing shit. I mean, we all know he's, like, passes, you know, he's not doing this what he used to do anymore. But I mean, if he had Trump on and challenged Trump, that would still be something. Like, all right, at least he's I don't know, at least he's like going to bat with Trump or whatever. Like, but it's just like, all right, I'm gonna have this old guy. I'm gonna have Biden on and just tell him how much I love him. I mean, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Like, this is the craziest thing. Like, I don't think anybody but him and like Mark Hamill think he's a great president. I mean, it's one thing to say like, "Hey, I'm glad you're in." Like, it's one thing to say, "Hey, at least Trump isn't in. Hey, you're keeping things going," which isn't true. But I mean, even if you said that, like, he's not keeping things going. But yeah, there's less Trump news. So if you want to say, well, at least we have the Trump chaos not going on. I mean, that's one thing you could say. And if you could say like, hey, it's not too bad. I mean, which is that's still your head is in the sand, but like, it makes sense because he's rich and he just doesn't know or care. He probably doesn't care. It's mostly that, I think. Now, I don't think he's lying. I think he really does think Biden's great. Like, I just get that impression. Some people might think he's doing this as like and yeah, it could be that. It could be a PR thing. He could have asked to be on. He probably did ask to be on. Or did Stern ask for Biden to come on? I don't remember, I don't know. I feel like it was Biden's team that asked him, hey, can you have Joe on? And I mean, they probably were nervous. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't embarrass himself more than what I heard. So that's kind of like, if only he, I don't know. It's just like so disgusting. It's just like, yeah, we know you like Biden. You've been talking about it. Like, we just don't care, man. It's the same thing if Fox News had on Trump and just were like, you're great. And he's like, yeah, no, I am. Like, that's, I mean, Biden lies all the time. He tells stories that he keeps changing all the time. I mean, at least they called out Trump for that, but they can't call out Biden. And you can't even go like, look, you make some flubs, but like, you can't even say that. I mean, get the fuck out of here. Even if you think Biden's better than Trump, like, how can you not be kind of honest about it? Like, how do you spin it like this? Like, and I think Howard just sees it as like, my life is better, so Biden's better. Like, that's literally how I think he thinks. And calling him a great parent, it's just fucking... Was that a note they gave him? They probably did, even though he's Howard Stern. They probably gave him shit to say. I mean, because they did that with, I know that ESPN reporter, Sage Steele, who was on Adam Carolla. I heard her say they gave her a list of stuff to talk about, and she wasn't allowed to say anything else that wasn't on it. And I know that's just ESPN, but I think Howard Stern probably also got the same thing. I mean, I remember listening to Mark Maron because Obama went on there. He went on like every show. And they haven't been able to do that with Biden. This is the only time he's tried to. No, he went on late night shows and did his horrible shit. At least Obama was charismatic and like, he just pulled it off. Like, you have to admit he pulled it off like every time he did this kind of stuff. Biden doesn't pull it off. I mean, he just does it, but. And, this would. Yeah, he was really crazy about COVID. So, and for some reason, he thinks Biden beat COVID or something. So he marveled over Biden's high school football career. And he said, wow, you were a star receiver in high school. I mean, that's obviously a lie. What are you talking about? So it looks like Howard Stern regrets how he used to be. He said he went through a rebirth and copped to being woke recently, and he embarked on an apology tour. I was an absolute maniac, he said. My narcissism was so strong that I was incapable of appreciating what somebody else might be feeling. I mean, I think that's still true. You just are faking it now. So here's what he actually learned. I shouldn't really let how I am out there now because you're supposed to seem nice now. The thing that's in now is like compassion or faking it or whatever. So like that's what I'm going with now. But back then, shock jock stuff was like in, so he was all good. But now it's not. So he's changing with. So he's really not changed at all. It's just like he did adapt. He adapted. He didn't really change. There's no way he really changed. I mean, you can act whatever you want. You can put on whatever image you want. It doesn't mean you're actually a good person. That's the worst part of the culture now to me is like people really value the pushing of an image and no one actually cares about how someone is privately. Like they do when, Me Too happened. They were like, oh, he did that behind closed doors. But it was really like... And then it became what everybody pushed as a thing. Like, oh, I support women. Like, yeah, no shit. I mean... I don't know. I mean, people just, like, only can judge a surface, I guess, now. Don't judge a book by its cover, guys. I guess no one will learn that, though, but... I never was like a big Howard Stern fan. Like, I know there were bits that I used to like because, like, everybody has bits. I didn't really get into Howard Stern, though. I just always thought he did come off like that, like how he describes himself in the past. I mean, I always saw that. It's kind of like he was a TMZ before TMZ, where he was trying to just get the most dirt on someone all the time. Like he says here, he regrets some things he asked people. Bringing up rumors of homosexuality with George Michael. So he would just try to get dirt and shit like TMZ does now. Now he's just about interviewing, I guess. That's the thing, like when you realize someone just is like about negativity like he used to be. And then he changes. It's like, okay, I guess there really was nothing behind that. It was just like really just negativity and like gossip. And I will say he seems loyal to certain people. Like I guess he is to Biden because he likes Biden. And to that Robin lady. He had Trump on back then because that was, Trump was in back then. He just follows the wind with whatever is in. Okay, so now it's like there's breaking news happening with all this stuff. Yeah, it looks like NYPD mobilizes near Columbia protests. So this is going crazy today for some reason. They went to Penn Station, then they went up to Columbia. Now the NYPD, as of 11 minutes ago, said the protesters at that hall where they broke the windows in, which is where that girl was from, where I played the clip from. She was one of those people. They're going to be charged with trespassing and burglary, they said. Again, she's on video and she's in that group. I mean, that's going to be on her record. Like, that's not protesting. Stop calling it protesting. I guess I'm trying to, like, preserve the meaning of the word protesting. Like, the people that are defending it, I understand why you would hear that and go, protesting isn't rioting. Yeah, but, like, once you break into a building, that's not a protest anymore. Okay, so they said they're going to be charged. We'll see. Anti-Israel banners fly on Hamilton Hall, which is where they broke into. They're just they have no thought. Like, they're just like holding a sign. Palestine's almost free because we're doing this. Like, you think that's helping them? Hundreds of anti-Israel protesters march across NYC, hitting every university tent city. This is a siege. Yeah, so yeah, they call everybody Zionist. It's a new buzz phrase. I mean, it was white supremacist when George Floyd happened. Now it's Zionist. That's the new update with the terms. So they're just going around the city to every college and hitting. It's like they're going on a bar crawl, but. Alrighty, that was gossip stuff. Oh, so I guess speaking of the. I don't know. I don't know if I want to talk about politics, political stuff. Well, I mean, I guess all the protests are, but I mean, is that because they had to leave a campus and then they just went to another college? That probably is what happened. Yeah, it seems like it was the colleges telling the cops not to come. But, they waited a while, so oh, here's a creepy story. Yeah. I'm the creepy guy at the office. I'm the creepy guy at the office, guys. Creepy dad who allegedly drugged 12-year-old girls' smoothies always kept track of coworkers' kids. Thought he was just being nice, they said. So I guess he fed drug-laced mango smoothies to his daughter's friends. So he had oh, that's bad. He was working as an HR director for a renewable energy company, Avangrid, and he was known around the office for being friendly and jovial, but one of his former colleagues now questions his motives. He always wanted to know about our families, a colleague said. He'd ask about my kids, how old they are, what extracurriculars. Ugh. He was the one coworker who would like my daughter's cheer pics on Facebook. Oh boy. He would ask questions about her. He knew my kids' names and ages. He kept track of that stuff. I thought he was just being nice. Right. Jesus Christ, man. This is too dark. Yeah, so he drugged the girls, and yeah. So I guess the lesson there is like if you have a coworker that's like liking your daughter's pics on Facebook, I mean that's weird, I mean especially if your friends are on there. I mean what the fuck? Also tell your kids to like not accept friend requests like ever. Just tell them to, or just don't. Obviously. Telling them now don't go on social media might be the best thing, but yeah, they're gonna do it. They're gonna secretly do it if not. So don't have your kids on Facebook, guys. It's creepy. It's weird. How naive are you if your coworker? I mean, maybe because he has kids, they thought it wasn't. That is like. Tricky, I mean. But yeah, just don't fucking. Why do people accept friend requests from like whoever, just any stranger? Like they're creepy. They're creeping on you. Anyway, so like I did talk about that show, Three Body Problem. Oh, that's interesting. I thought it would only be a miniseries, but they're talking about it might have a second season. I'm not sure I'm gonna keep watching it though. Yeah, so I did keep watching a few more episodes, and I will say it does get better. But there were a couple of things that stood out to me. I'm just going to name them. I wrote them down because it stood out so much. Well, the biggest benefit this show has is that it's based on an old book, and it's not going to be written from an ideological whatever lens. But it could also just have been bad also. I mean, it's just hard to find anything good now, The best bet is if you watch a show based on a book or something. So the main character, I don't know if that's the main character here, the girl that I complained about before. But she's really terrible still. She's the worst character. She's the worst actor. Also don't understand really what the point of her is in the story. I mean, she's the least interesting storyline. It's just like she keeps seeing these numbers and then like freaks out about them. That's it. I guess has some kind of thing with the black guy who's I forget his name. But the rest is good, like, except the stuff I wrote down, which is, okay, so there's this detective guy, this Asian guy who's like the big detective, and he's been in Marvel movies and stuff. I don't know his name, but, I mean, he's good, you know, except like there was this one part where he's sitting at home, I guess, looking over stuff for work because he's a detective, and, I guess his son is there playing video games, and he's like calling his son lazy, like, "Oh, do you have a job yet?" And at some point, for no reason, he mentions, I guess, whoever he's dating, Allie. He says, "This is okay." So this is a lot like in the first episode, that part I mentioned. He was like, "Yeah, that's why you didn't like Allie at first," and he was like, "I still don't," or something, or I forget. And then he goes, or he makes a point to say, like, you know, just because he's my boyfriend. Like, he makes a point to say my boyfriend. So, to put that he's gay in there, I mean, there has to, now in every show there literally has to be gay couples and lesbian couples. I don't have a problem with those people. But it's put in, like, it never feels natural to me because the way he said it was really weird, too. It was like, my boyfriend. And the name Allie could definitely be a girl. So I don't know if that's what they wanted to trick the viewer and make the viewer feel, like, hateful or something. Oh, God, I assumed it was a girl. And that same thing happened in the first episode I told you. I talked about where they were like, my gynecologist, and then she goes, she. And then the other girl goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, sorry I'm sorry I misgendered your gynecologist." And another part, the detective guy goes to his boss, talking about, I don't know, some company or some client or somebody that they think is doing bad things. And they go, "Yeah, well, it might be linked to this guy because he's behind all the anti-vax and all the 5G conspiracies." And those two things only were ever brought up in the year 2020. People were talking about 5G causing COVID, and then they talked about anti-vax. So those could not have possibly been in the book source material, so they inserted those in there for no reason at all. Because he's a real conspiracy guy. He was really into the anti-vax and 5G. First of all, they didn't have to even name any conspiracies. They could have just said, he's a conspiracy guy or whatever. But they had to name anti-vax. They couldn't say any other conspiracies because those might be problematic conspiracies. The bad conspiracies are anti-vax ones and 5G, which hardly anybody was fucking... Nobody was talking about 5G after, like, March 2020, so those were very forced in, and it did take me out of the show. I mean, that was too current to hear. I mean, I guess they put that in there to go like, hey, we're not going to talk about the bad conspiracies. We're just going to talk about the right-wing ones or whatever. So that was really weird, like, and then the other part was my boyfriend, Allie. I mean, first of all, there was no reason to even show his kid why? There was no point to that in the story. I don't care about him having a kid or what sexuality his kid is, for fuck's sake. It's just like, it's like when I'm applying to, searching for jobs now. they all ask what like gender I am and like, all this. It's all voluntary at least, but like I will say they haven't really been asking sexuality. For some reason that went away. Like I don't know if anybody else remembers this, but like for a while it would be like what's your sexuality, and it would be voluntary usually. But now it's only gender. Like what's your gender? There's no focus on the sexuality anymore. I don't know when that happened, but I guess because of the, trans stuff, they're just doing away with sexuality completely. They're like, hey, yeah, sexuality, it really doesn't exist. What's your gender, though? And that really doesn't. Well, you know what? Actually, that could have been. They probably called that phobic or something because, like, oh, why do you need to know that? Yeah, but then why do they need to know the gender stuff too? Like, how is that not? You're collecting data, But I guess it's okay because it's gender. Like, pretty soon it will ask you what your political affiliation is. I'll still opt out of it, but, it's just weird that we all have to know this all the time. Like, every character in a show, we have to know if they're dating the same sex or not. And also, why do they have to be dating all the time? I've never really enjoyed that in a show. Like, hey, who are they dating? I mean, the stuff with this main character girl, like, maybe she's not I don't know. She's just the least interesting. I actually don't, like, I was hoping this was a miniseries. I don't really want to watch it after season 1. But like I said, it is getting better. I just thought it was a miniseries, so I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess I'll see how it winds up, the season 1. But yeah, I just wanted to say it's not a complete failure of a show. But yeah, there's like stuff put in there. But I guess every show does that now. But not as bad as that first episode though. So we'll see. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully they don't focus on that main character anymore, or at least like make it interesting. But I just think she should be out of the show. She's just like the worst one. That's always confusing. Like when you watch a show, and then there's one character you hate. I started to fast forward through some shows because of that, and I'm trying to force myself through them because you will miss stuff. The show Mad Men, there was like some characters I just didn't like and thought were bad actors, and some of those I never see in anything anymore. So I think it's kind of like they screw themselves over by sucking at acting, because if you're in a big show like this and you just suck and nobody talks about your character, that's not good. I mean, look at AJ from Sopranos. Like, people hated his character, and I kind of think, it might have been the acting. Like, they didn't write him anything good because he just wasn't doing it or something. Like, I feel like if you're good enough as an actor, they'll give you stuff to do. I don't know. That's just a theory, but, just a little theory. Anyway, remember guys, be fun Zionists. If you don't share and like this,
You're Zionist. If you're okay with us starving to death, then fine, don't send us food. I guess you're fine with us starving to death? Okay. We have meal plans through the school. I guess you're okay with us starving to death. Yeah, we broke into your house, but I guess you're okay with us not eating? Like, what are you doing? Like, we need basic humanitarian rights right now. We're making our own Gaza Strip. Later, I'm gonna
make my own Gaza Strip steak later. Gaza Strip steak. Anyway, I'm gonna join one of those autonomous. Start streaming, and let you guys know how it goes. Stefan
Zionist pigs, die! Just kidding. I have to cut out that die part now.